Are we getting the full story from the media? I don't think we are. Let me give you a simple example. I'm sure you'll be aware that we have started a petition and it's calling on the ability for rapid antigen testing for those who are not vaccinated so they don't lose their jobs. And so we sent out a media release talking about this petition. It wasn't picked up by any media at all. In fact, even as the numbers started to build up and it's currently sitting around just under 70,000, even then there was absolutely no media coverage at all. Now you may be saying, well, Bob, the media doesn't always talk about petitions, and certainly not when you first launch them. Actually, let's just have a look at some examples of that. When the Maori Party launched their petition to change the name of New Zealand, yep, sure, they got lots of media coverage across many channels. In fact, the Green Party got media coverage for their petition that they started. We also had a petition to bring back Afghan nationals. That was reported as well when it was launched. National Party launched a petition on MIQ. Yep, there was coverage on that. There was also a petition launched regarding the pilot involved in the White Island rescues. That was reported, and I even found a petition launched to get the Taranaki Bulls promoted to NPC Premiership. So, yep, there's no doubt that petitions are reported when they're launched. In fact, if the media likes them, it gives them lots of advertising, as we saw with the recent conversion therapy petition as well that the Greens launched. Lots of media coverage and promoting. But you may say, well, hang on, you've got to get signatures on them. Okay, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, remember, our petition has got over 60,000. It's almost at 70,000 as I speak. And let's have a look at some of the reports on petitions. So the Maori Party petition, they got 25,000 reported, got up to 60,000. Big reports on that. Still not quite as big as ours. The movie about the Christchurch attack, 11,000 signatures, got a report. 40,000 signed this petition, got a report. 17,000 signed Axe petition. Yep, that got reported in the media. In fact, the Crusaders name petition got 25,000 and that got reported as well. So once again, it's not necessarily the number, it's whether the media perhaps agrees with it. And so what we had to do is we ended up having to take out full page ads to get our story across and to make people aware of it. And so we did these full page ads. And the interesting thing was that there were actually news reports related to the petition, what the petition was asking for, which is about testing for the unvaccinated. But even then, the media did not want to go near it. Now, at the end of last week, we released some polling related to the petition. You probably didn't hear about it in the media. Let me just show you the results of that. This is the no jab, no job policy, and we used Courier Market Research, a reputable polling company. And what they found was they said, do you support or oppose an employer being able to sack a staff member if they're not vaccinated? Now, 50% said yes, 31% said no, and a further 19% were unsure or unwilling to say. But then we said, do you think employees who don't wish to have the vaccine should be able to keep their job if they agree to have a weekly test? 58% said yes, and just 27% said a blanket no, which is quite a phenomenal result. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, hang on, it's Courier Market Research, never heard of them. But the interesting thing is that the media do report Courier Market Research, but it's generally when the National Party is slumping or when the media agrees with the results of the poll. So it's not the polling company that we used, that's the issue. But what it does highlight is that, unfortunately, there is concern about the approach of the media and whether the media is telling the truth. And don't just believe me. What do ex-media people say? And I used to be involved in the media, but Carl Dufresne used to be the editor of the Dominion Post. And he wrote an article just recently that said this: traditionally, the function of the media has been to stand back and report these events dispassionately. By sticking to their role as neutral observers and reporters of news, journalists generally manage to protect themselves against public acrimony. But in recent years, the media have made themselves active participants in the culture wars, and in doing so have stoked the fires of polarisation. News pages were apolitical, and any reporter presumptuous enough to express a personal view was likely to be quickly reined in. No journalists dreamed that they had a licence to moralise. But today's media are overtly and vigorously politicised. Identity politics is relentlessly promoted. Journalists have become polemicists, using their privileged position to lecture readers, listeners, and viewers, and to put their own spin on events. Consumers of news, to use a ghastly contemporary expression, are bombarded with a barrage of ideological propaganda in place of straight news. In fact, this opinion piece has just been released, and it's by a former MediaWorks head of news. And he talks about the fact that the media are either shifting to the right or the left. So they're losing that balance. Even people who are in the media are expressing concern. In fact, Peter Williams raised concerns about the Public Interest Journalism Fund, that $55 million slush fund to the media. And he said one of the key principles is that the fund must actively promote. And Peter Williams says actively promoting is not journalism. It could be called many other things, but I'd cut to the chase and call it propaganda. I got sent this quote this morning. It's very applicable for today. Some say it's by George Orwell, some questions about that, but the statement is great. In times of universal deceit, telling the truth will be a revolutionary act. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that what we're saying is just seen as a revolutionary act by the media, and the media just aren't interested in telling it, even if it's the truth.